If you've ever explored Buddhism, you've likely come across the Four Noble Truths. They're often described as the foundation of the Buddha's teaching, the very first thing he shared after his enlightenment. But what do they actually mean? And more importantly, how do they apply to your life? In this video, we'll break down each of the Four Noble Truths, not as abstract concepts, but through real-life examples, so you can not only understand them, but start living them. Let's begin at the beginning. 1. The first noble truth. Life involves suffering, dukkha. This truth is simple, but often misunderstood. Dukkha doesn't mean life is only suffering. It means that suffering is a part of life. And if we don't see that clearly, we'll always be confused about why things don't feel quite right. Real-life example. Imagine you get your dream job. For a while, you're thrilled. But over time, stress builds, expectations grow, and that initial joy fades. Or maybe you fall in love. Everything feels perfect. But then you start fearing loss. You get jealous, anxious, or disappointed. That's dukkha. Even when things go well, we often feel a subtle unease. Because we're clinging to things we can't control. We're trying to make temporary moments last forever. The first noble truth asks us to be honest. Life has pain. Life has loss. Life is uncertain. This isn't pessimistic. It's liberating. Because when we see the truth, we can stop resisting it. 2. The second noble truth. The cause of suffering is craving, tanha. So why do we suffer? According to the Buddha, it's not just because bad things happen. It's because we crave something different. We want pleasure to last forever. We want pain to go away instantly. We want people to act how we expect them to. And when life doesn't cooperate, we suffer. Real-life example. You're scrolling through social media and see someone on vacation. You suddenly feel frustrated with your own life. Why? Nothing changed, but your craving did. You craved something you don't have, and that craving created suffering. Another example. You're stuck in traffic. You feel angry, anxious, trapped. Not because of the traffic, but because you're craving for it to be different. This craving can be for sensual pleasure, food, sex, entertainment, existence, ego, success, identity, non-existence, wanting to avoid pain, boredom, or responsibility. When we cling, we suffer. The second noble truth invites us to look closely. What am I holding on to right now? What am I resisting? That's where the suffering is. 3. The third noble truth. There is an end to suffering, nirodha. Here's the good news. The Buddha didn't just diagnose the problem. He also discovered the cure. The third noble truth says that suffering can end. Not by changing the world, but by changing how we relate to it. When craving ceases, suffering ceases. This doesn't mean you stop feeling emotions. It means you stop being enslaved by them. Real-life example. Let's go back to the traffic jam. You notice your anger, your impatience. But instead of feeding it, you breathe. You accept. This is the moment I'm in. And suddenly, peace. The traffic didn't change. You did. Another example. You see someone succeeding. Instead of envy, you feel joy for them. That's freedom. That's the end of suffering. The third noble truth is not an escape. It's an awakening. It's the realization that peace isn't found in perfect conditions. It's found in a quiet mind and an open heart. 4. The fourth noble truth. The path to the end of suffering, magga. So how do we get there? The Buddha gave us a roadmap, the Eightfold Path. This path isn't about dogma or rituals. It's about cultivating wisdom, ethical living, and mental clarity. Let's walk through each step with real-life context. 1. Right view. See clearly. Understand that actions have consequences. Know that craving leads to suffering. This is the foundation. Real life. Instead of blaming others for your stress, you ask, what craving or belief is causing this reaction? 2. Right intention. Commit to kindness, non-harming, and letting go of desire. Your mindset shapes your actions. Real life. Before responding to a difficult email, you pause and choose to respond with patience instead of anger. 3. Right speech. Speak truthfully, kindly, and helpfully. Avoid gossip, lies, or harmful words. Real life. Instead of venting about someone, you ask yourself, is this necessary? Is this kind? 4. Right action. Live ethically. Avoid actions that cause harm. Real life. You choose honesty at work, even when it's hard. You help someone without expecting anything in return. 5. Right livelihood. Earn a living in a way that doesn't harm others or yourself. Real life. You reflect on whether your job aligns with your values. If not, you explore ways to shift or balance it. 6. Right effort. Cultivate good qualities and let go of unwholesome ones. Real life. You notice when you're slipping into negativity, and you gently guide yourself back to gratitude or compassion. 7. Right mindfulness. Be present. Pay attention to your body, feelings, thoughts, and surroundings without judgment. Real life. You eat your lunch without distractions. You take a walk and actually notice the world around you. 8. Right concentration. Develop mental focus, often through meditation. Still the mind, so insight can arise. Real life. You take 10 minutes each morning to sit quietly and breathe. Over time, you feel calmer, clearer, more centered. These 8 steps are not rules. They're tools. Tools to help you live with wisdom, compassion, and peace. Bringing it all together. So let's recap the 4 noble truths with real-world clarity. Suffering exists. Life includes disappointment, pain, and frustration. The cause is craving. We suffer because we cling and resist. Suffering can end. When craving ceases, peace becomes possible. There's a path. The Eightfold Path helps us live with awareness and freedom. These teachings aren't abstract philosophy. They are living truths. And they can change your life. One breath, one choice, one moment at a time. You don't have to be perfect. You don't need to memorize anything. You just have to be willing to pause, reflect, and begin. Closing words. The 4 noble truths are not a dogma. They're a mirror. A mirror that shows us how we create suffering and how we can let it go. Today, try this. Notice when you feel tension or stress. Ask, what craving is behind this? Breathe. Let go. Begin again. The path is not about escaping life. It's about embracing it with open eyes and an open heart. Thank you for walking this path with me. If this video helped you, please like, comment, or share it. And remember, freedom isn't far away. It's as close as your next breath.